Okay, then we start from the main program again because I think we missed everything and I forgot to share the screen. Sorry for that. So again, we are using the OpenPYXL library, right? It is basically used to manipulate the files, right? Now, what if you wish to write multiple data to Excel file? Now, if you can see, this is the structure of an Excel file. You have rows and you have also columns with you. Fine. So what can be done right now is like I have a tuple here. You can see this the individual tuples 11, 48, 50. How do you know it's a tuple? Because we have round parentheses. These are tuples. Again, see I can have a tuple with different data types, right? I have a string here, I have a floating number here, and so on. Right now, if I want to write this tuple of tuples, right? Why this is tuples? Because these are individual tuples enclosed within another tuple. So this become a tuple of tuples. Tuples are faster than lists, so we actually prefer tuples, right? And now you can see if I want to write these tuples individually to the Excel file, we just have to use a simple for loop. For I in data, and append is a function that is provided with the sheet object. And what is the sheet object? I am using the workbook, right? I make a new workbook and make the sheet active in that particular workbook, right? Let me just execute the code here once and then you will get an idea. So the code is executed. What we are saving here, we are saving as appending values.xls. Let me come to my computer and open this file. So you can see here I have written these values. Let me just make this window on top so that you can just compare that whatever input we had in the file is actually appearing in the output. So you can see 11, 48, 50 has come as 11, 48 and 50. So you can see each individual tuple element is written to a particular row and a column, right? Similarly, we have the Peter, Andrew and 41, 45.63. You can see Peter, Andrew and 45.63 is written. So what did you do? You iterated over this data tuple. After iterating, you were just appending to the sheet, right? And if you can see, when you make a sheet, this is the same name that you get here, right? This is sheet. So whatever name you keep here, that will be the name that will be kept for this particular sheet, right? So quite an easy program, right? But we just want to see how powerful this OpenPYXL library is, right? Because your midsem assignment, right? You have a midsem quiz plus midsem assignment that will have some manipulation on the Excel file only, right? Now we actually want to read from a Excel book, right? We actually want to read from an Excel book. So right now what we are doing, I am saying load workbook, right? Load means nothing but read. Read workbook sample file.xls. Let us first see what is the sample file.xls. This is the file, and you can see this is the sample file. This is column A, column B, and rows and all. Fine. So how do you know what is the value here? So first you read the column. So this 41.8. Just a minute, yeah. So 41.8 is in column A and row 3. So you can see Excel gives it as A3, right? Saying the location of it. Let us just close it right now. So you can see A1 has twinkle twinkle little star, A2 has CS384. Let me close this book and now let us read it through Python. So in Python, you can see I'm loading the book. Basically, I'm reading this particular file. I'm reading the first sheet and I'm reading the content of cell A1 and A2, right? Let me just show you the file again. What will be A1 and A2? I'm just making this always on top. Let me zoom in. So you can see sheet A1, right? So A1 is a sheet having twinkle twinkle little star. Then we have sheet A2. What is A2? A2 is having CS384. Then it is saying row 3 and column 1. So what is row 3? Row 3 is this and column 1 is column A, right? Column 1 is column A. So we begin from 41.8. So these are the three values that will be printed. So see, you can directly refer to the cell or you can refer to a row and column combination, right? Let us just run the code. And you can see the first cell value is twinkle twinkle little star. Why? Because in the first cell we had written A1 and A1 was nothing but twinkle twinkle little star. Similarly, A2 was CS384 and third cell is 41.8, right? So this is how you read a book basically, right? Future programs we will see how to read the entire workbook also, but we were just referring to individual elements. Load workbook, So you load the workbook which you want to read, and then you just make the first sheet active, and from the sheet you are reading either the cell reference or you are using row and column number. Again, a very easy code to check actually. Yes. Acha, huh. Yeah. See, the use of R is in that case is, for example, if you are specifying a path, let's say if this program I'm seeing, right? If I say C colon demo.xls. So let's say if I don't use R here, let's say there is a file known as Nemo, right? Assume there is a file, right? There is a movie called Finding Nemo also. Assume we have a file called nemo.xls. Now, if I tell the compiler or the interpreter to open this file, it will consider this slash n as a new line, and it will interpret this slash n as a new line. In order to prevent that, there are two methods. First is you specify two slashes, saying that okay, this slash was nothing but a path of the file, right? Or if you actually want to keep the same path, you actually put a character R here. So when you say R, that means all the string following this is a raw string. You don't interpret the slash t and slash n like new lines and all. You just interpret it like a normal string, right? Get the point? So since we are specifying directly the file names here, right? So we are not using the R keyword. I mean, it's not a keyword. It is just, even if I use R here, there will be not an issue, right? R is nothing but raw, right? Raw means avoid slash and slash R, right? You directly take it as a string. That is the whole purpose of R, right? Now in this case, we will see how do we basically, okay, now we have a demo.text, right? So let me just have a let me just delete this file demo, and we have a sample file here, right? I am making it demo. I'm just showing you the contents. As you can see in demo, we have only one sheet, that is sheet 1, and you have some contents here. You don't have new sheets here, right? Now let us see how to make a new sheet. Fine. So first of all, I'm reading this demo.xls, right? Now I'm making the current sheet as the active sheet. So by default, the first sheet is taken as the current sheet. So even if your Excel file has 5 sheets, the sheet number 1 will become the active sheet, right? Now there is another library which is known as a date time library. It is useful for manipulating the dates and times in Python, right? So date time dot now basically will give you the current time, fine, and this strf time basically is string formatted time, right? So basically what happens, so let me just show you this output first. So what happens, see, this d is date, m is month, and y is year in 4 digits, right? So this becomes like dd mm yyyy, and there is a dot in between, you can see. So dot is like 13.09.2021, right? And then you are making a sheet title with the name date name, right? First, let us see the output and then we can see what happened in the input, right? So let me just run the code. Finally, of course, we have to save the file, see the program executed correctly. Let us open demo.xls, right? This is demo.xls. Now just see in the bottom, right? Do you remember the output here was sheet 1? Basically the name of the sheet was sheet 1 here, and now it has changed to ddmmyyyy. Now how did it come about? See, the code goes like this. We first made the sheet active. So let me again delete this file and show you again, right? Let me delete the demo.xls. You can see this sample file. This sample file has a name sheet 1, right? So let me just copy the sample file again and save it as demo. Now you see the demo file will have the first sheet as the name sheet 1. Now, sometimes some simple files take such amount of time to open in Excel. Yeah. You can see we have demo.xls having sheet 1 as the name. Let me close this now. So basically sheet 1 becomes the active sheet, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm just getting today's date in the form of dd mm yy. These are predefined format in Python. So right now just forget, just remember that percentage D, percentage M and percentage Y gives me 2-digit date, 2-digit month and 4-digit year because it's a capital Y. If I make it a small y, it will give me 2-digit year. And then what I'm saying, whatever was my sheet, see what was the sheet here? It was the active sheet. So make the sheet title as date time. What was the date time here? Date time is basically this particular thing. And then we save the file. So when I run the code, it just takes today's date and then saves the file with 13092021. So this is how you rename sheets in OpenPYXL. That's another very simple piece of code, but just to show how important again. So now we are adding sheets to the Excel file. What do I mean by adding sheets is like we had a demo.file, demo.xls file, right? So you can see this has only one sheet, right? So this becomes sheet 2, then so on, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5 and so on. So these are basically known as adding sheets to the file. Now how can we do that in OpenPyXL, right? I am deleting the demo again and again so that because you know how is a sample file looking, and then I copy the sample file to demo dot, right? So we have only one sheet here with some content, twinkle twinkle little star. Now let us see how can we add sheets to the file, right? So first we load workbook. Again we can use R because you know it's a single file anyways, R is not required, but a good practice is to always use R. I always recommend using R so that you read it in a raw format, right? Again, you first read the active sheet, get the current time, you make the sheet title as the date time, right? The current date time, just like the previous program. See now you are having another sheet and you are writing the name as, okay, let me just write this CS384. So this is my sheet name CS384 plus I am formatting with today's date, right? So let me just comment out this. So you can see this is index 1 and title equal to sheet name. So what basically it means, I am creating a new sheet, right? I am creating a new sheet. The index of that sheet is 1, right? I will show you what does index of that sheet means. And title is equal to sheet name. What was sheet name? CS384 space plus today's date, right? Let me just run the code so that you can get an idea here, right? The program has ran successfully. And now let me come to demo.xls, right? So you can see the original sheet was renamed to the time because it was just the previous code which I had copy pasted. The active sheet was given the date time, which is of today. And then you can see I am calling a function create sheet, right? Create sheet I am calling. Index is 1. So what does index 1 means? So this is index 0. This is index 1. CS384 space, right? CS384 space and the current time and the current time. Fine. And that is how you create a sheet in Python. Guys, okay, so now let us take a break for 5 minutes. We will be back at 12:30, right? So doubts are welcome in the chat or so. Hi class. So as we saw in the previous lecture, we got another sheet here, right? So let me add some more sheets here. Let me just delete the file, right? I am just reading the demo. I just recreate the file so that you know, okay, what was the initial, how was the initial file. So now I can also create a sheet directly and give a title. Let's say I'm creating a sheet with index 2 and I'm giving the title Superman, right? So now two sheets will be created, right? Let me just run the code. See, the code is run and I'm doing demo.csv. So as you can see, active sheet was renamed to the today's date. Then we had CS384 13921 and then we had Superman. Fine. So in this manner, you can add as many sheets as you want in your Excel file. Fine. So now after adding sheets, let us learn how to delete sheets also, right? So I am opening a file here, which is I have renamed it to delete sheet.xls. Let me just check this file. right? And let me just copy the contents, right? There are some random contents. You can see here you have sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3, right? We will delete sheet 2 out of it, right? So first you load the sheet, we have delete sheet here, and there is a function, right? You load the workbook and save it into the WB objects, right? And there is a name called wb.sheetnames. So sheet names basically returns the list of names of worksheets, right? So in this case, it will be sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, fine. So now I am selecting a variable. I mean, you can name it anything. Sheet delete is workbook, and I'm telling the name of the sheet that needs to be deleted. And basically, remove function will basically remove that particular sheet, right? So this is how you basically can do. There is another method here, del wb sheet delete. That is also fine. I mean, you can use either of the methods. Finally, you save the book, right? So let me just run the code here. So you can see in this, the names of the workbook before deleting is sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, right? Which is in sync with what we had initially. Of course, see now the sheet is deleted. We have only sheet 1 and sheet 3. Fine, the sheet 2 along with the contents is gone, right? If you want to delete sheet 3 now, let me just keep sheet 3 here, fine, and let me just use this function, right? So name of the workbook, and in the subscript you specify which sheet to delete, right? Let me just check the code. Okay, sheet 3 does not exist. Uh, okay, some issue here. Let me just check with this particular code. Yeah, sheet 3 is deleted. I think this should be simple. Okay, I will check the syntax. But right, I mean, see, after deleting sheet 3, let us see what is the condition of the file. You can see sheet 1 is only remaining, right? So this was about adding and removing sheets from the Excel file. Yeah, so I think, let us see what is the code here. Okay. So how to read all the values from a file? Now see, let's say you have a big Excel file containing various values spread across, right? Now how do you read all the values of the file? Fine. So let me just delete this sheet, and actually we are reading sheet 1. We will read sheet 1. So you can see I have a delete sheet.xls, right? And you can see there is some content here, right? I have only one sheet, which is sheet 1, and there are some numbers distributed here. Fine. Now how do you read all these numbers? So first you load the workbook, delete sheet.this. Fine. Let me keep a good name actually. Info. I am reading info.xls. Which sheet I am reading? I am reading sheet 1. Right. Now the sheet object has two functions here. Actually not functions. These are just properties. Max row and max column. Right. So this basically will give you the maximum number of rows that file has and then maximum number of columns that file has. Right. So let me just exit here. And let me show you the output of row count and column count. Let me run the code. So you can see it says 21 rows and 9 columns, right? 21 rows and 9 columns. Let us again verify here. So you can see this is row number 21, row number 21. And if you see column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this has 9 columns, right? So now you can see you can get the maximum rows and maximum columns through a single command, right? So now once I got the row count and the column count, it is just iterating over the rows and counts. So what I'm doing, I'm going in the range from 1. Remember in OpenPYXL, the indexing is 1 based, right? Column 1, row 1. There is no column 0, row 0, right? It is beginning from 1. So we start from 1, go to every row plus 1, and because the range takes from 0 to n, not including n, right? Remember, range takes 0 to n, not including n. Hence, we are adding plus 1 to it. Similarly, for all columns, we go from 1 to this. So you read a row and read all, for a particular row, you read all columns and you just continue the song. This is similar to a matrix programs, you have done the array reading of a matrix, exactly the same. You are reading the rows, you are reading the columns, and for every row, you are reading all the column values. So let me just run the code. So as you can see, content, and in the blocks where there are no values, right? Because we had 21 rows and 9 columns. So assume it's like a matrix of 21 cross 9. Since there was no content here, it gave us none, 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 and then it read the entire file for you. Fine. Okay, the same program once again, but now we are actually seeing, for example, I am opening a file, sample file.xls, right? Sample file.xls. Let me just show you this file again. So now you can see I have a content here 41.8, right? Now if I want to determine, right? Now if I want to determine what column, right? What basically see this 41.8 is in A3. Now through Python, how do you obtain this A3, right? How do you obtain this A3? So again, a very simple piece of code. Let me just close the file. So what do you do here? You read the entire workbook, right? Because you do not know where the content is, right? So you can see the same previous code, for loop, you iterate over rows and columns, and now you read the data for every row and column, and you compare if my data is equal to 41.8, or it can be anything that you want to compare, twinkle twinkle little star or CS384, etc. And now there is a function get column letter. This is predefined in OpenPYXL. So get column letter will give you in which column, basically what is the index. So let me just run this code and you will get a feel of it. See, 41.8 is present in column A and in row 3, right? Right. So you get the column from this function, and then you get the row. Basically, you are iterating over the row using I, right? And get column letter means, because see, you are iterating over the numbers here, right? Range will basically give you the numbers, and get column letter because it's a mapping, right? Column 1 is letter A, column 2 is letter B, right? So this is just a mapping between a number and the alphabet, right? So for example, our file also has CS384, right? So run the code. See, CS384 is present in column A and row index 2. Let us come back here to check it out. See, column A and row 2, A2. Fine. So guys, since you have midterms in the next week, I think I will stop here for today. Fine. This part is the last part that will come in the midterm. Tomorrow we have only quiz, right? I won't take any class tomorrow. Or if at all, if I feel like, I will just show you 2 programs demo, or it just depends tomorrow. Fine. So class, just practice these programs. If you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. Others who do not have doubt can leave the session. I will upload this recording on YouTube as of course, as always. Fine. And tomorrow we will be meeting for the quiz at 12:05.